10 signs you're the family scapegoat. Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. And if you'd like to learn more about how to work with me in one of my coaching programs, how to become a coaching client, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. So let's dive into 10 signs you're the family scapegoat. But first, what does it mean to have been cast in the role of the family scapegoat? Well, fundamentally it means you grew up in a toxic and dysfunctional family system where you were perpetually criticized. You perpetually felt blamed, shamed, and rejected. You were quite literally cast in the role of family scapegoat, and quite undeservedly so. Although, like all humans, you aren't perfect and you have your flaws and shortcomings, we all do. The truth is, you were treated as a second-class citizen in your sick and dysfunctional family system, to the point where you've suffered with low self-worth, anxiety, confusion, as well as people-pleasing, approval-seeking, and a need to please, to such a degree that you've likely also struggled with some form of addictive compulsive behavior at some point in your life. And that's the least of it. Few things are more painful and damaging than being scapegoated by your original family of origin. But the truth is, you can heal if you're willing to give yourself a gift. Now that said, let's go deeper by unpacking 10 signs you've been cast in the role of the family scapegoat. Number one is the degree to which we struggle with self-doubt and lack the ability to trust ourselves. Constantly feeling confused and doubting ourselves is a function of having your self-esteem undermined, if not outright attacked, and pummeled into the dirt. It's also a function of having been gaslit on repeat over years, if not decades of time, whereby family members literally and quite deliberately, I might add, cause you to doubt yourself, your experiences, and your own perception of reality. Number two, you've been devalued, blamed, and shamed by your own family to such a degree that you quite literally feel all alone in the world. You've been abandoned emotionally and otherwise, often so severely that you live with chronic feelings of isolation. You not only feel alone, you feel misunderstood, unworthy, and fundamentally unlovable. You don't feel good in your own skin. And as such, you have difficulty being yourself. In particular, around your family of origin, you don't feel safe being you. You've learned to tippy-toe and walk on eggshells around others for fear of upsetting the apple cart, setting someone off, or triggering the next attack. Sign number three, it's all your fault. That's right. Somehow you're to blame for everything that goes wrong. If it went wrong, you either did it or somehow caused it. If it happened, it has to be your fault. And if it didn't happen, well, that's your fault too. If someone behaved poorly towards you, treated you harshly, unfairly, you deserved it. If someone betrayed, abandoned, or otherwise hurt, harmed, or abused you, you must have done something wrong or earned it somehow. In other words, you brought it on yourself because according to the people doing the scapegoating, the members of your family, it's always your fault. They never ever want to discuss what triggered you, just how you react. God forbid you should have a feeling or feelings as a result of being treated so poorly by the very people who are meant to love, support, nurture, and protect you. And on that note, number four, you're tarred with a negative brush. Now, no matter what you do, or how hard you try, no matter what lengths you go to keep the relationships intact, you are consistently portrayed in a negative light to others. Now, hearing constant criticism, insults, and disparaging remarks is painful. Knowing your family is responsible for assassinating your character, to anyone who will listen, not least as a means of deflecting attention away from their own relationship crimes, well, that carries a level of pain and trauma few can fathom or imagine unless they've personally had the experience. When your family, the very people who are supposed to love you, protect you, be supportive of you, and have your back, go out of their way to paint you as a terribly unlikable and problematic person, to say that does some damage and leaves scars is an understatement. The harsh reality is, when you are the family scapegoat, your dysfunctional family members want to convince others that you're not worthy of love, acceptance, approval, kindness, or respect. And they'll be willing to do and say whatever it takes to get that message across, no matter how untrue, cruel, or bizarre. Why? Well, because this is much easier than the prospect of openly admitting their own role in the family's dysfunction and the extent of the damage they've inflicted on you over decades of time. The truth wouldn't make them look very good, now would it? Furthermore, they cannot afford to run the risk that outsiders might align themselves with and be supportive of you in any way. So they go out of their way, in big and small ways, to make sure everyone sees you in a negative light, while simultaneously painting themselves as something far more innocent, kind, decent, loving, helpful, noble, and altruistic even, than they are even remotely close to being in reality. Sign number 5, they lie to and about you, in particular as a means to discredit you to others and hide their own overt or covert abuse. They perpetuate the narrative that they are the good and self-sacrificing one, and you are either, were, or are the difficult, ungrateful, problem child, and naturally the narrative continues into your adult life. Fun stuff. Now comment below and let me know whether or not you can relate to any of this. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. In addition, there's also a brand new free gift section in the description below this video as well, so be sure to avail yourself of that. Sign number 6, you feel like the family target and punching bag. The family scapegoat is the person who bears the brunt of the family's pent-up frustration, anger, fury, and rage. If this is you, then you undoubtedly feel singled out, ridiculed, and find that you're often made into the butt of every joke. They'll rarely miss an opportunity to put you down or laugh at your expense. And unfortunately, it doesn't take long for outsiders and other relatives to follow your family's behavior, because they may not be aware of what's actually happening or the extent of the harm being caused and the damage being done. At times, you may feel like you're going through life with a warning label attached to you. New friends and potential partners and in-laws even might get a clear message about your flawed character according to your family's perspective. There's nothing like meeting someone new and having them say, "Oh yeah, I've heard about you," with a knowing look, and not a nice one at that. And all thanks to the negative narrative your toxic family members run with when you're not in the room. Nice. Sign number 7, dysfunctional family members project their own shortcomings, attitudes, and behavior all over you. Here's what that's like. They'll yell at you and accuse you of screaming at them. They'll go through life entitled and self-centered to the extreme, but accuse you of being selfish. If they lie and cheat their way through life, you guessed it, you're the liar or the one doing the cheating, according to them. Now, if you've never been on the receiving end of actual narcissistic abuse, I know this sounds next level crazy, and that's because it is. If, on the other hand, you identify as the family scapegoat and have been on the receiving end of familial narcissistic abuse, you know this is exactly how they operate. Sign number 8, your good qualities, achievements, and success are minimized, diminished, and absolutely downplayed. They can't be genuinely and sincerely happy for you, celebrate you, or allow others to see the light in you, the good in you, or the truth of who you are. Furthermore, I believe narcissistic family members are incredibly envious by nature. Narcissists in general are. They don't know how to cheer for anyone, other than maybe their golden children, and only then because they see the golden children as an extension and reflection of themselves. They're fully scarcity minded, and anything good you have going for you highlights their own lack. even if that's only perceived lack in their own minds. They're competitive, small, petty, jealous, and envious. So your successes and achievements, or any good thing you have going for you, will be downplayed and, if possible, sabotaged if they think they can get away with it. They are that kind of mean. Sign number 9 of signs you're the family scapegoat: others ignore and enable the abuse. Now that's right. Other family members may see that you're the one being treated or targeted or abused, and strangely, they choose to look away or downplay and minimize what's going on, either present day or what they know full well went on in the past, because they were there. And one of the primary reasons they do this is pure cowardice. As long as you're the one being abused, then they, as well as their own offspring, are safe, for the time being anyway. Some might even join in on the targeting as a means of endearing themselves to and bonding with the abusive perpetrators. Either way, understand this: silence in the face of abuse, especially where children and minors are concerned, makes you complicit. Those who sit around staring at their shoes or the ceiling, pretending nothing's happening when someone's being targeted by a toxic bully, make no mistake, these people are full participants in the abuse, period. They get no free passes here. Number 10, ironically, you also play the role of savior, in addition to having been cast as the role of the family scapegoat. Often, not always, but certainly often enough, the family scapegoat has a pattern of also playing the role of savior or rescuer in their dysfunctional family system. Regardless of how much you've been abandoned, neglected, targeted, or abused, you're also inevitably the one everyone runs to whenever there's a crisis. The one expected to help clean up the messes, take care of others, including those who have done the most harm, treated you in the most vile ways. And this is because you are the most capable, and they know it. They won't admit it, but they know it. You're also the most reliable and highly empathic, as well as being the one most in need of validation and approval. So you're not likely going to say no, unless and until, of course, you start doing some healing work, begin taking better care of yourself, and muster the courage to start setting your own boundaries with your dysfunctional family. In the meantime, you'll put up your hand and play savior more often than not, in the hopes of finally being seen, accepted, and appreciated for the good, kind-hearted person you actually are. But it's an illusion. You're only approved of as long as you're useful. When you're no longer useful, or better yet, no longer a willing participant in your own exploitation, it'll be back to business as usual. The business of smearing and vilifying you. Now here's how that works. They'll ask, and sometimes even beg for your help when they need it, then turn around and treat you like goo on their shoe as soon as whatever the crisis du jour happens to be has passed and they're feeling confident again. When they don't want or need you for anything, they'll be back to smearing you to smithereens in order to poison the hearts and minds of others towards you. Sound familiar? Unfortunately, many people don't even recognize that they've been cast as the family scapegoat and scapegoated fully most, if not all, of their life. When this is the only type of family life you've ever known, it's your normal, no matter how painful and sick the dynamics at play may be. Without even realizing it, we internalize the stress and struggle with anxiety, depression, some form of addiction, and/or eating disorders, and then we're further blamed, shamed, and criticized for the very real struggles we deal with that are an exact net result of having been targeted and abused in the ways that we have been since childhood. And sadly, some scapegoats simply choose to shut down emotionally as a means of surviving what they've been going through. They find ways to numb out so they don't have to feel much of anything. And as you can imagine, this can cause a myriad of problems in our adult relationships, since we tend to attract what is a vibrational match to our unresolved issues and original family of origin wounding and trauma, until we do the work and heal. This is called the repetition compulsion, and it's very much a subconscious pattern playing out in our adult relationships, our subconscious magnetic relationship patterns. So, If you're living out a pattern of attracting one narcissistic relationship after another, as well as finding yourself the scapegoat, not only with your family of origin, but also in other places, like at the office, in friendships and social circles, maybe with your in-laws, and you aren't walking away from that nonsense as soon as you see it happening, but rather you're staying stuck in the muck, it simply means you have some healing work to do. Give yourself the gift. It's time now. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know the Ascension class is open for enrollment. Now, this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself, you're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, and heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you were always meant to be, click on the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.